So I went back to Germany over the Christmas period and I discovered three main differences between Sweden and Germany, which I would love to talk about in today's video. So keep watching if you want to know about these differences. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Julie and I'm originally from Germany. After living 10 years in London, the UK, I moved to Stockholm, Sweden 2.5 years ago. And I also wanted to thank you for the regular messages I receive where people tell me that my channel really helped them to understand Sweden a little bit more. That's what I'm here for. So if you have any questions, any specific questions about Sweden, let me know in the comments down below so I know what kind of videos to make. And also to my Swedish friends, if you want to know anything about a foreigner living in your country, then let me know in the comments down below. I definitely love to make both types of videos on my channel. So let's subscribe to my channel and dive into the differences between Germany and Sweden. So the shockingly first thing I discovered when being back in Germany, and to be fair, I haven't been in Germany for a year, so it was kind of a refresher, but I was really shocked that so many people were smoking everywhere. And yes, I'm talking about outside, which is allowed, but when I thought about Sweden, I barely see any people smoking. And yes, that's probably because snus is much more popular. It's something you put between your gum and your teeth and it gives you nicotine and everything, but no smoke is coming out. You don't really realize when someone is doing it on the street. And now I think I really understand why Swedes are doing that rather than smoking, and I kind of appreciate it. I think in one of my videos I was complaining a little bit that people in Sweden snooze, it's unhealthy, but at the end of the day they can do what they want with their body. But what I really like is that they don't bother other people. And in Germany it really bothered me that so many people were smoking, because you're still walking and you get all the smoke in, and especially with kids I really dislike it. I don't like it, and sometimes even when I see parents and they smoke next to their children, yeah, I really dislike it. I don't want to say hate, but it's disgusting. And I thought it was quite disgusting seeing so many people smoking and the smoke being in my face quite often, just by passing by. And I really appreciate that in Sweden it's not the case. And I think that's a bit the Swedish character as well. They don't want to bother other people. So snus is a much better solution than smoking. Yes, of course, there are people who smoke here in Sweden, but it's definitely not that much. And outside or in the streets, maybe they do it in their own home or terrace, whatever, but it's not so much in the street and it's in your face all the time like it is in Germany. I really appreciate it. And I know people sometimes complain a bit about, the character of Swedes. They're quite introvert, but one characteristic I really appreciate is that they don't want to bother other people. They want to be nice people, kind people by not bothering other people. And smoking is one of the things which bothers other people, especially non-smokers, and they have found solutions. And thank you, Swedes. I really appreciate it. Another thing I noticed, and I knew about it, but it is really present when you are there. In Germany, people love cash. They just pay in cash. I see shops with signs where it says only cash. I definitely remember having seen different signs here in Sweden where it says only card payment and you could not pay with cash. It's such a difference between Germany and Sweden. And I talked with my family a little bit about that as well, because they do want to introduce more like a card payment mentality in Germany. And a lot of people really dislike it, including my family, because there is not a lot of trust into, the government, but also in technology and data, especially because you could be scammed. You could put in a number and you pay with card and you don't even notice it, so you would pay maybe more, or they take your card details and then they have access to your account. I mean, these are the thoughts of people in Germany why they don't like electronical payments. And also another reason is that you can't really see the money. It's just numbers on an account. When you have cash, you are more in control. I think that's the main kind of thoughts behind that. But yeah, I really noticed that there's a lot of cash payments in Germany, a preferred way of paying. And when I thought back here in Sweden, It's the total opposite. The total opposite. Since I'm here, and that's now 2.5 years, I've not seen Swedish krona in like cash. I've always paid with card. Always, always, like 100%, which is crazy. Like, my family can't even think about just paying with card. They are still very focused on like cash and what feelings they associated with cash, and then, you know, what feelings they have with electronics and data especially. I don't know if you know, but Germany is very distrustful with data. Like, they really want to keep to themselves and keep the data for themselves. So I think someone also sent me like, or maybe I read it somewhere, that here in Sweden there are about 30,000 people who tried a chip in their skin. I mean, my family went absolutely ballistic. They would never ever do that. To be fair, that thought scares me a little bit as well. I don't want to have anything in my, you know, skin. It's definitely a very alien kind of thought, but I do get it why people are doing it. And I do get why they're experimenting with it. And, you know, who knows, maybe not in our lifetime, but later in 100, 200 years, whatever, or maybe less, that will be a reality and that will be just our day-to-day life. I mean, I get also why cash could be quite beneficial. I can see the disadvantages and advantages. For example, I'm thinking now how to teach my daughter, she's 5 now, how to handle money and how to kind of like manage money. She's not super familiar with numbers, you know, maybe 1 till, I don't know, 20, whatever, 100. No, she's not there yet actually. So 1 till 10 or 20 she can do. But if she doesn't see it, you know, it's much harder to just think about it than having something in your hand and then count it and like allocate it maybe to things for savings and whatever. So I still have to think about a creative way to teach her with probably a card or maybe just some paper money to make it more visual. But yeah, that maybe is a bit of a concern or just something you have to think about when you handle card payments or, you know, digital money rather than cash. And last but not least, I wanted to talk a little bit about alcohol, which there is quite a difference between Germany and Sweden. And I noticed that when I went to the German Christmas markets, which I absolutely love and adore, and I would not change anything 100%, but I noticed there are so many variations of the mulled wine. So many alcoholic beverages you can choose from, and you can put a shot in and whatever, you know. I mean, I loved it. I couldn't try everything. I think I maybe tried 2 different ones and then it was it for me. But I love that there are the options for it. I think it's called glögg here in Sweden. So mulled wine and glögg. I mean, it's similar in the product, but then there's so many variations in Germany, and there's just kind of one type in Sweden. And I'm more talking about the Christmas markets at the moment, and that made me think about alcohol consumption in general and how accessible alcohol is in Germany, you know, have it in the supermarkets. And I think like there's almost more celebration with alcohol in Germany. You know, you have the so-called Volksfest, which is like a fun theme park thing with a beer tent, you know, Oktoberfest style. You have that in all the villages and during summer. And you have like the beer tents where obviously alcohol is a major part of the whole experience. And here in Sweden, they really try not to have this focus on alcohol. You know, obviously you can't buy it everywhere, especially the higher percentage products, you know, you can only buy at Systembolaget, which is one shop with restricted opening times, for example. But what I realized, what is available in Sweden, and I love that about Sweden, is that there are so many different non-alcoholic beverages. And I talked about this in other videos already, that I love that, but now I was just made aware of it again when I was in Germany. How many different alcoholic beverages there are in Germany, but you barely find non-alcoholic versions. And in Sweden there is a whole section with different things. You know, you can buy cocktails like wine, beer, everything in a non-alcoholic form, and I love it, and I prefer that sometimes. Actually, I'm not a big drinker anymore. I'm sure that also is based on my personal circumstances because I have children. I don't party that much anymore. I'm older, so my hangovers are much worse. So I'm sure that is all reasons not to drink that much. But also, I don't normally drink during the week or at the weekend, unless maybe socializing with friends. But again, you can't drink that much because either we're driving with a car and one of us can't drink at all, or most of the time we have our kids with us, so we can't actually get smashed. You know, so those times are over. But yeah, that's a big difference in Germany and Sweden, how alcohol is seen there. And I do like the approach here in Sweden that alcohol is not evil, but there shouldn't be too much focus on alcohol because obviously you can abuse it, and people are also different. You know, the more alcohol you drink or more regular, the worse. So I quite like the approach here in Sweden. And I noticed that in Germany there's definitely a different culture around alcohol. You know, there's a beer culture and stuff like that. So big difference between Germany and Sweden. So I hope this video was fun. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought. And I hope I will see you in my next video. Until then, have a great day and stay safe. Hey do!